Hi, everyone. Welcome to ElCo Chats. My name is Julieta. ElCo Chats is a regular podcast where we get to feature El Camino College students, graduates, staff, faculty, and managers and chat about all things El Camino College. For today's podcast, I get to chat with Alexis, a El Camino College graduate and now current student, and talk a little bit about your experience here at El Camino College. Welcome.
Yes. Well, thank you, Julieta, for having me. It's a true pleasure to be here. But yeah, it's been a journey to say the least. So I graduated from ECC back in 2021. Came here fresh out of high school, pursued a communications AAT degree, and then received my AA in general studies, behavioral sciences as well. Then I transferred out to Cal State Fullerton and majored in communications with a concentration in journalism. And then I, went into the industry of media straight out of college, had a role, an internship, a solid full-time internship, and worked there for about a year before deciding maybe, full-time I want to pursue education. So it's been a whirlwind, but I'm happy to say the least.
Thank you. And that was going to be my first question, is to share about your first degree and that career path and what drew you to that. So you shared that you have your Associate of Arts in Communications and you transferred and you went into that media world. But what drew you to that world initially? And then we'll talk about your transition over to education. So what drew you to that first field of study?
Sure. Yeah. So really just the art of storytelling. I've always had such a strong passion for just simply speaking to people and hearing their stories and providing some type of platform or, getting involved some type of way to help their stories be heard. And so, yeah, as simple as that, just speaking to people, learning about people from different backgrounds, different communities, and finding connections along the way.
Thank you. And what inspired you to return to school and pursue a completely different degree? So now you're interested in education. Was there a specific moment or experience that made you realize that you wanted to change?
I think I have two passions. One is media and one is education. And prior to even receiving my degree in communications, I've been a part of the SAG-AFTRA union basically since I was 9 years old and acting even prior to my unionization. So being in the entertainment industry as a whole and then, specifying it to media and then I don't know if it was a specific moment that had me completely want to switch paths, but just the fulfillment aspect. I learned very quickly that in the whole media world is very fast paced. You're always on the clock, even when you're not on the clock. And that was a bit of a struggle for me because I prioritize family so much and my life outside of work. And I found that a little bit harder to balance the two. So I know, working full time may not be the best option for me. I might have a change of heart years down the line. But as of right now, I know that I wanted a career where I can still be so fulfilled, but also be able to balance my life outside of work as well. So I've always had a passion for working with children. Since growing up, my mom, she owned a daycare for about 12 years with 21 kids outside of our family house in South LA. So grew up around those kiddos and then eventually became a teacher's assistant in high school, and then became a literacy tutor in college. And so I was managing media interests as well as working with children basically all of my life. They coexisted. And then after working in media for about a year and some change, I realized, man, when I think about what career I want to do long term, and I can see myself doing for 20, 30 years, I think that looks more like education and then maybe fitting media on the side. Yeah.
So education wasn't always something that was out there. Like you said, there was a parallel between media and education in your world.
Yes.
So as you were starting over per se, were there any fears or doubts that you had in this process? And if so, how did you work through this?
I definitely think there were, to be simply honest. I felt a little bit of guilt, going to college. I had 2 degrees from ECC and then a degree from Cal State Fullerton, and none of that was in education at all. So part of me had to take a step back, and I was like, am I wasting a degree? Did I invest all this money in a degree that I'm never going to use again? But I slowly but surely came out of that mindset and realized, my degree in communications is actually so essential for me pursuing my career in education. So they both kind of connect and intertwine in some ways. So, but yeah, if I'm being honest, it really humbled me and had me take a step back, because I've always been such an organized, like, okay, we're going to go here, 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 and have a super, plan out of my career and where I wanted to go. And it was straight just news media, news reporter. Mm-hmm. That was it for, I want to say, probably the last 3 years, maybe 2-3 years, while I was in college. And then, after working in it, and it was a shift, and it was very scary, to say the least, because I was so comfortable. I loved my team, still practically working with them part-time as we speak. But as far as full-time, I knew I had to integrate education and pursue that more so right now.
And we're glad you're back.
Thank you.
So speaking about being back, what was it like returning to school as someone who already holds a degree? And you mentioned a little bit about guilt, so thank you for being honest with that. So what was it like returning to school for somebody who holds a degree? And how is this experience different from your first time in college?
Yeah, to put it simply, it was humbling. It stopped me in my tracks, and I was like, I'm starting over essentially. I don't have any credits, any units in education, so I had to start with the regular prerequisites and start as a beginner in it. I mean, a career, of course, I have experience in, but nowhere close to actual education in. So it was a start over, and that was a little bit scary.
And speaking of scary, what's been the most rewarding and the most challenging part of this journey?
Most rewarding, I would say, just the freedom to and the privilege to be able to say, okay, I want to switch careers. A lot of people don't have that for whatever reason. And so I think that's been most rewarding. And I've always been a learner and enjoyed school and just learning. And I think now the difference from when I first received my degree, it was more like, okay, I'm going to college, I'm getting a college experience. Now it's like, I've already had my college experience. It's go time, it's focus time. My priorities are different because now I'm, going to my classes, eager to learn everything I can get out of my professors and out of the class to apply it to my jobs that I'm currently working now with children. So it's not just, I'm taking quizzes, I'm taking tests, I'm just trying to get an A. Now it's like, how can I apply the knowledge I'm learning into my profession?
And I appreciate you mentioning that eagerness, because when you do feel eager, that means you're ready. And like you said, it's go time, right?
Yeah.
So how are you approaching your education differently this time around?
Yeah, I think it goes just back to that. My priorities are a bit different now. I've always been focused about my education. I never played with it. It's always been a serious thing for me. But now it's more so like, okay, you already have a degree. Let's make sure this one is truly an investment and is one that's going to stick and, be long term. So, just focusing in, honing in, seeing how much I can just, gain, being a sponge in every class I have, paying for these classes. It's not cheap. And seeing how I can pay it back to my profession. Yeah.
You mentioned the first time around was more about the college experience, and now it's more about the focus on your career.
Yes.
So with that, This second time around, are there any resources that you're accessing for your support that you weren't accessing the first time around?
I don't believe so. I don't believe so. I've just come here to El Camino, enrolled in those classes, and it's been a true journey and a true pleasure being here.
So looking ahead, what are your goals with this new degree, and where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Yeah, so so right now I am a kindergarten through 8th grade substitute teacher, as well as a in-home caregiver for children, as well as working in the counseling department here at ECC. A lot of different things, moving parts, but my whole reason for going into education is to work with children and to, just be a positive impact in their life and create a space for them to thrive. So for me, that looks like becoming a teacher as of right now, since I've already been subbing and finding so much joy in it. But long term, I really do think I will eventually mesh my communication and education experience into speech pathology, because being a literacy tutor, I was working with students with speech impairments. Even in teaching, just our general population of children, you will come across students with different needs. And so I try to, even as a sub, I try to, orchestrate the lessons in a different way, and sometimes I have to switch it for certain students that didn't need different things. Speech pathology may just be the end all be all for me, but right now I'm really trying to get this teacher credential, and specifically from ECC a teaching permit, at least so I can teach preschool and kinder.
And we're glad that we can be a part of that journey.
Yes.
And for others who are thinking about switching careers or going back to school later in life, what advice do you have for them?
Don't be scared. Is this a carrot? Don't be scared. Don't be embarrassed. It's not an embarrassing thing. Life is short. To put it simply, I have to get real, but life is so short, and you don't want to be in a career that doesn't bring you fulfillment, doesn't bring you joy, because that wears and tears on you. You want to be happy essentially with what you're doing. Everything is not going to be a walk in the park per se. Everything, comes with different challenges and stressors. But for the most part, you want something that's going to bring you a lot of joy to keep you going every day. And so switch it if you need to.
Switch it if you need to.
Yes.
And I think I kind of know the answer to this, but has this experience changed your definition of success? And if so, how?
That's such a good question. Success is what you make it. I think, other people might see you accomplishing different goals and doing things, but if you don't feel that internally, is it really a success to you? So I think success is internal. Whatever you feel you're accomplishing, whatever you feel your purpose is, and if you're walking in it, that's your success. And as long as you feel fulfillment and joy from what you're doing every day, feel like you're making a difference in this crazy world, then that's it.
Thank you. And then what's one thing you wish people knew about students like yourself who've gone on, gotten their degree, started working, and are returning? What's one thing we should know about students like you?
Maybe just the knowledge aspect. Many of us have different journeys, have been on, different experiences, and have obtained experiences from our previous career paths, our degree paths, educational paths, I should say. So just the knowledge, we might have something else we can bring to the table in our conversations and our discussions with our professors, with different students. Just the wisdom, knowledge. I wouldn't say wisdom, but knowledge. Yeah.
I would say wisdom and knowledge. You definitely have something to share, and I appreciate that you have a contribution, and your story is different than other student stories,
right?
And it's also important. So thank you for that. So for anyone thinking about starting a different career and considering applying to El Camino College, what advice do you have for them?
To come on over. El Camino has been such an amazing institution for so many years. My grandparents came here. My mother came here and worked here for 20 years. And now I'm here, got my degree from here, but I'm back because I'm switching careers, and I knew that this was the place where I can, come back and make that switch and be comfortable and know I'm supported by my professors, by the staff, faculty. So this is part of home. This is part of home for me. But yeah, I would just tell every student to come on over. El Camino has so many programs and different resources that we offer students. I think it's one of the best community colleges in SoCal. So yeah, I would definitely I'm 10 toes recommend. 10 toes down recommend. Yes.
So sounds like it definitely contributed to your success. And I'm so proud of you. You graduated, you got your degree, and making that decision to return and try something else, I think is also something to be proud of and something to acknowledge as well. Switch it if you need to, and go ahead and apply to El Camino College. So thank you so much, Alexis, for joining us today and for sharing a little bit about your story. And hopefully it resonates with others who are thinking about doing the same, and just know that there's success for you available.
Yes, hopefully. Yes. Thank you, Julieta. It's been a true pleasure, and I truly enjoyed this.
Thank you.
Yeah.